Shalom, Yisrael. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, Yisrael. It's your brother Shimon with Ancient Watchman. Thank you for tuning in. I know there's only one viewer. I don't know who's watching, but I'm waiting for Jose Vega to join us. We're gonna have an open discussion about certain things happening within the community, and also things happening in the world, because we have to address, the bigger picture of what's really going on. For brothers that want to join in, I'm going to be sharing the link in the comment section in the chat room. I will be happy if you brothers can join in so we can talk about stuff, man. Break bread amongst each other is good. It's beautiful. There it is. I just sent you brothers the link. So you brothers click on the link and I will bring you in. Hold on.
What's good? What's good?
Yeah.
Vega, Jose Vega. Shalom, bro.
Shalom.
Shalom. What is happening, man?
Nothing. The wife just got home. Kids are kind of happy.
Yeah, I hear that. Right.
Oh,
Well, I made it work. I don't know. We are live, so I don't know if you want to go for it right now, or you wanna do it later, or whatever works.
no, just like I said, we'll just see if it works. Looks like it's working pretty good.
You're breaking up.
Hi.
You got so many pillows.
Hey.
Mommy got so many pillows.
Yeah, I guess it's hard to invite people on YouTube because it would have to be viewing YouTube.
Yeah, you're breaking up, bro. I don't know if you're breaking up. I don't know if your internet connection over there, or it's mine. I don't know what's going on.
I hear you perfectly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and so if you wanna go for it, we can talk about it right now. I might as well. We're already on. Either way, whatever works. If you got time now, we can go right ahead. If not, we can wait for later.
Yeah. It like I said, it don't matter. I just wanted to test it out, so make sure it works. Everything's all good. But I know you got kicked off of Facebook in 30 days, and so did I. So it's not like we can invite. It's not like we can invite people from Facebook right now.
Yeah, man, it's crazy that when you deal with Yahat, the group from Kona, brothers don't want to deal righteously. They want to deal deceitfully with one another by reporting our comments and whatever they like, because they don't like our stance. They don't like the fact that we believe in Christ and we believe that he was a real character that walked on the earth. And according to them, he never existed, and this and that and the third. And it's nothing new, because it happened before when a lot of the Pharisees and the Levites wanted to kill Christ, because first of all, he was from the tribe of Judah, and he came to establish a new covenant under the priesthood of the Melchizedek order, which is the angelic priest of the heavens. So obviously, we know that the Levites, they've been exercising their office for thousands of years, and all of a sudden you got a Judite, especially from the bloodlines of the kings, coming in and basically changing the whole thing, right? Which we know that the kings have the ability and the power to change laws, and that's what basically a lot of these New Testament believers use, because they use Matthew 5, in which we read that law changed because Christ changed it. But we know that David changed many laws too. We got the Jews during the times of Esther. They even created a new feast day called the Feast of Purim or whatever, So we know that the kings of the bloodlines of Judah, especially the bloodlines of Jesse, the lines of David, they have the power and the ability to change laws. This is why a lot of these Jacadians or the New Testament, Old Testament believers go against Christ, because he had the power to change laws. And so now we go against them. We go against their ideology and the hatred that they have against Christ and against the tribe of Judah, because he came to change their whole stance. Imagine like you're a Levite yourself, and imagine you've been exercising your office for thousands of years, and all of a sudden someone comes in, takes away your tithing. It takes away, you live in the suburbs, because a lot of the Levites live in the suburbs, and so it takes away, your source or food, and so on and so forth. And it's like, wait, why are you doing? What are you doing this for? And that's basically what Christ stood for: change of priesthood, because the priesthood of Levi was off. You got many instances where Moses killed his own brethren because his own brethren stood against Moses. But we have lots of instances where we have Moses being a respected person, and so on and so forth. And we've gone into battle on the common boards with the brothers of the Yachad about that, and they don't like that. Instead, they block us. Instead, they report us. Instead, they report us as being bullies and harassment, which is not true. Why? Because they don't want to deal with the information. And we're basically the ones, among other brothers, that is making a stand and defending Christ, because Christ was a real character. And obviously, we're not worshiping Christ. We don't have images of Christ on the walls like a lot of these camps do. So, that's why they block us, because they don't like our stance.
Yeah, I find it funny, because like I said, not even like 5 minutes of Martha being on there. That's when I got my 30-day suspension. I guess you can hear me.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, yeah. No, I'm saying it was crazy because all that just because, like you just said, they just can't deal with the information. What I'm saying? I guess they reported a comment of me calling them white. What I'm saying that how Quana teaches the doctrine that the white man was the first man on earth, and that type of nonsense. Which I already have the screenshot showing that. What I'm saying, of Quana saying how Adam was white, Laban was white, Jacob was white, David was white.
Right.
I have a post of him showing that.
Yeah, and all because his wife is right.
Yeah, and I posted it on the chat.
Right. Go ahead, bro.
And they didn't like it. They was like, "Oh, he's not saying that." I was like, "Then what the hell is he saying?" Well, he's just saying they're white like Esau. I was like, "Yeah, keep reading." That's exactly what he compared it to Esau. So he was basically saying that white people existed before black people. How is that fucking? How does that make sense to any of y'all? Like, what I'm saying? Because I keep on that. They're still on that pre-Adamite stuff. I'm like, come on, man. I already proved it, man. Stop the nonsense already.
Right. Right. Yeah, man. And so I know you and I were talking about the fact that. Give me a minute. Let me put this music down a little bit. It's too loud.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
So yeah, man. So we were talking. I mean, we've shared this before. We talked about amongst ourselves over the phone when we talked about the beast of the field, because when it comes to us dealing with a lot of these Africans within the one was camps, synagogues of Satan, which is basically a bunch of Canaanite camps anyway. At the end of the day, for brothers that don't understand, any Latinos and natives that are watching, that will watch this live, they're not our people. First of all, we established that for an entire year already. So the brothers that don't want to listen to that, just like the Bible calls you stupid, right? Because that's basically what a lot of our people are. We read in Isaiah. As a matter of fact, let me read that, because I don't want brothers to think that I'm actually I have hatred against our people because I do not. I love our nation just like you love our nation as well. It's just that our people are stiff necked. They don't want to listen, And so let me read Isaiah 56 verse 10. It says, "His watchmen are blind," right? And I know this scripture was used by what's his name? What's his name? The guy that was with us. What's his name? Uh, the one that lives in a lake, man. Remember what's his name again? The donkey. Are you there, brother?
Yeah.
Anyway, his watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They're all dumb dogs. You see that? So a lot of our people, they claim themselves to be watching over our nation, but they're blind and they're dumb. The word dumb means to be mute as in not being able to speak against what is being seen within the community. One was and their offshoot camps, right? So his watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They're all dumb dogs. They cannot bark, meaning they cannot sound the trumpet. Obviously, we have sounded the trumpet for an entire, and so us sounding the trumpet, brothers are mute, like dumb dogs, just like the scripture says in Isaiah 56:10, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. So that's basically what's going on. So I know that when we deal with a lot of these brothers, they they act in a certain way that makes us think that they're not acting like humans. Because when a person's speaking, obviously the other one listens. It's a form of respect. It's a form of courtesy. But when it comes to us dealing with them, what do? They just go off on a tangent and they start interrupting. They start going, just acting like a bunch of beasts, like a bunch of beasts of the field. And so this is why, we are saying that they're not even what, because they act in a certain way that makes us think and leads us to think that they're a bunch of beasts of the field. And obviously, you brought that out, and obviously, a lot of people that are going to listen to these, they're going to say, well, the brothers of the ancient watchmen are going, no, they're calling the blood and beast of the field. Well, the scripture speaks on that. And I know Brother Jose Vega is going to break down in a minute in the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, you were kind of breaking up a little bit.
Lily,
You said the what?
all right, brother.
You can hear me?
Yeah, man. So I was saying that when we deal with a lot of these so-called Africans calling themselves Jews or Hebrews or Levites or Judites and this and that and the third, they don't act right, man. Even with our Torah, even with our book in their hands, they can't even act right. I remember when I came into Judah Natsara's channel, and Jeremiah Judah was there, JJ 7000, whatever his name is. I came in and we wanted to discuss like any regular human is. And what does Jeremiah Judah does? He starts just going off on me like crazy. Like we're having a civil discussion. Like you can't keep your emotions at bay. That you start acting like a beast instead of a human being, and dealing with another person at a righteous and balanced level mentally and emotionally. You can't do that. And this is why we are saying that a lot of these brothers might just be feel that the Bible speaks of, because the white man has already said it. Now the other subject is that's like, well, the women, they're not even Hebrew. This is why when we study their judicial system, they have similar Torah laws within their system, right? I mean, just look at why, because they grew amongst us. They grew amongst our people. Isaac, our forefather, taught us such some commandments. So obviously Esau, aka Edom, aka the white man, he knows the laws. That's why their system is similar to the system of our book. It's similar stuff. And this is why they themselves even say that they're the beast of the field, because they know what's going on. Even in their state of wickedness, as the white man is, they understand certain levels of spiritual matters when it comes to, what we see. And that's why they, brothers brought it out before that so-called black men, even though they claim that they're the original man, well, obviously they claim that they're the original man for a reason. Why? Because they go back to being the beast of the field. So, Hochit Itanimulik. Shalom, brother. Shalom. Welcome back, brothers and sisters. Welcome back. Welcome to another edition of Ancient Watchman. We're going to listen to Jose Vega break down the understanding of the beast of the field according to the scriptures. So, brother Jose Vega, take the floor.
About what? Oh, yeah, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. You gotta speak up a little bit.
Oh, okay. No, I'm saying you was cutting you. I don't know if you had a pretty bad connection over there. You was cutting in and out a few times. Just letting you know that.
Okay.
But you can hear me all clear, right?
Yeah, I can hear you clear, man.
Okay. Yeah, man.
Eat the pizza in the oven.
Yeah, I was hoping, like I said, there's a few people from Facebook. I know I wanted Angel to probably to have a discussion with Angel. I know he wanted to talk. He's been
Angel
yeah.
Pardo.
You know what I'm saying? But we can't even
Sandra Ruiz, Shalom, sis.
we can't even tag the brother.
You can't share the
To YouTube, to Facebook.
what's his name? Uh,
I was hoping that
I was hoping that
Ben Cuevas is what we're watching.
Ben Cuevas is what we're watching. So.
yeah, I don't think I have his number. Otherwise, I'll share the link with him too. Let me see.
Oh, true that. You said sure where?
On text. I don't have his number, no.
Oh. Yeah.
Jennifer, Shalom, sis. What's
That's exactly where it started in my mind. And I see now the mercy of Yahweh it has to be upon us if we're going to call us the children of Yahweh. We have to be merciful to one another. And I don't know what else to say. I'm just happy to be here.
Yes, sis.
Yes, sis.
You're right.
You're
We
right.
have to
We have
act
to
in a
act
merciful
in a
way against
merciful
the
way
wrong
against
people.
the wrong people.
You have like an
You
echo
have like an
going
echo
on.
going.
All right. Can you brothers hear me or no?
You sound better. Before you had like a horrible
Jojo?
echo.
Yeah, I was saying in regards to what Sister Jennifer said that we have to learn how to act in a merciful way towards our nation because we already in a fallen state as it is, right? We're already a sinful nation as it is. We're already unrighteous as it is. So imagine if we're just here judging everybody else, passing the finger, lifting the finger against one another. What is that about? The Most High says in Proverbs that on an unbalanced an unjust balance is an abomination to the Most High. So we have to learn how to be balanced when it comes to passing judgment against one another. And so we got a lot of these brothers from the Jihad group, the cult members over there, passing lots of judgment against everybody else. And this is why even Chris said, when he encountered that adulterous woman, you know, that she was about to be put to death. I don't know if you brothers remember that story. And the Pharisees, they found her committing adultery. Obviously, the law, the judgment against anybody that commits adultery is death, right? But through the dispensation of mercy and grace under the second covenant, which is when Christ was walking upon the earth, it was for us to learn how to act in a merciful way towards one another and not just act like robots, like as if we're not humans, because we are humans. So we have to exercise mercy, true judgment, and grace. And that's what we read when we read 23, when it says that a lot of the heavier matters of the law, which is mercy, judgment, and faith. And that's what a lot of these brothers lack. That's why a lot of these brothers are always passing judgment one against everybody else. I'm gonna read it. Matthew 23, verse 23. It says, "Want to use Christ and Pharisees, hypocrites, right? For ye pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the heavier matters of the law, which is judgment, mercy, and faith." You see that? So that's basically the problem today, man. A lot of brothers, they think they're righteous, they're more holier than thou because they know more scriptures than you, or they might speak Hebrew, or they might understand the roots of the Hebrew tongue. But what does that matter? What does that matter when brothers don't learn how to act in love? And that's what the brother Paul said in First Corinthians 13. I'm gonna read it because that's very powerful. What's the point of us understanding deep mysteries? What is the point of us understanding deep subjects, abstract things, abstract subjects, if we don't exercise love and mercy unto our own people? What is the whole point? There's no point. There's absolutely no point. It kills all of that. Uh, there it is. First Corinthians chapter 13, verse 1, it says, "Though I speak with tongues of men, right, and of angels, and have no charity, meaning I have no love, I am become as a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal." Basically, you're making just a bunch of noise. You're like a metal, just making a lot of noise. Just like this, just a bunch of noise. It's just garbage. It's nothing. So it says, verse 2, it says, "And though I have the gift of prophecy, right, and understanding all mysteries, right, and all knowledge, and though I have all faith, right, so that I could remove mountains and have no love, I am nothing." You see that? So, Sister Jennifer makes a great point when it comes to us learning how to be merciful amongst one another, man. Challenge, but it is what it is.
Shalom.
Shalom. Is that Jennifer that used to be?
Shalom, sis. Shalom.
Come on, is that Jennifer?
Would you like me to mute my mic?
No, you good, sis.
No, you good, sis.
No, I'm just saying because I've been having problems in my house, and I found out the reason is because I have to step down from my own like I think I know so much more than these people. These people have Christian mindset, but they're hypocritical in everything they do and everything they say, and it would make me angry by how bad they were treating me. And I had to step down from that and see it for what it is, and that Yahweh is the one that's gonna separate the wheat and the tares, and all I have to do is walk according to his words, not to what I think, but what he said. So, and be gentle and kind as a woman should be, and then I'm able to get through this hard life a lot easier than my own way.
Con. Jennifer, are you the Jennifer that was with
Jennifer,
Sergio?
you the Jennifer with Sergio?
Were you married to a
Excuse
guy
me?
named Sergio?
Were you married to a guy named Sergio?
I
Okay.
guess.
So now I
Okay,
hear
so
a bad
now
echo. Do you hear echo?
I hear a bad echo.
Yeah, do you guys hear an
On
echo on
my
your end?
end,
Hey, Yash, do you hear an echo on your end?
I do a little.
I do a little bit.
Not anymore. Not anymore. But yeah, man. Shalom, everybody. Shalom. Thank you for tuning in. We're just having an open discussion. This is not a lesson. Nothing. Just brothers coming in. I shared the link again for brothers that want to come in, join, talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. We're open to hear you out. And that's the other thing. We've opened our lives to a lot of our people. I've opened my inbox. I given my phone number to brothers so they can call me, and we can have a civil discussion on whatever it is that they have questions on. But instead, brothers want to slander our names, say that we're, Masons, say that we're witches, and this is not the third, and among other stuff, which is basically against Torah also. And that's the other thing. Like, brothers want to claim that they're all about Torah and Torah, and they brief Torah and they boast about Torah all day, every day. But when it comes to exercising the simple matters of the law, which is, hey, don't slander your brother, unless you have actual evidence, 100% through witnesses in the matter. Brothers they don't even have half of the evidence, and yet we see brothers slandering our names all the time, and it's crazy that been it's been the story of Seneca's lives for the past time we've spent exposing one West and their false doctrines, including a lot of these so-called elders within a lot of these camps, man. And we come in the spirit of meekness, man. We come in the spirit of truth, and that's what they don't like. They don't like that. Oh man, they don't like that.
Yeah, just reading a message from MH, I guess is in the comment board. He says the tares is in Jeremiah 31 and 27. He said they're the mix from the seed of Rome. I don't know about all that.
That's
Yeah, I don't
crazy,
know
man.
about all that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, because when we read about the tares, it's basically talking about false doctrines, like mixing doctrines that have nothing to do with scriptures and what the prophet spoke about. It has nothing to do with being mixed, because if that's the case, then we throw away the tribe of Ephraim, the tribe of Manasseh. We can throw away, the bloodlines of David. We can throw away the bloodlines of the king of Solomon, Judas. I mean, we can throw away all sorts of bloodlines within our own nation, because if that's the case, it's talking about tares, then there goes a quarter of the nation, you know?
He said, read the scripture.
And it's the same
Okay,
argument
I'll
they
put it like
make
this. MH,
when it
when we talk about mix, he said to read the scripture, Jeremiah 31:27, right? And also, he said Daniel's 2. He said half of Israel got the mark of the beast. Brother, you do know that scriptures does show that there's many of people mixed in the scriptures, whether from the father seed or even the mother seed.
Bro, this scripture cuts the whole thing about the beast of the field. I'm gonna read it because that's actually a cool scripture. Jeremiah 31 verse 27. It says, "Behold, the days come, say the Lord, that I will sow the house of Israel and the house of Judah, meaning both kingdoms, with the seed of men and with the seed of the beast." Oh wow!
So exactly, it just helped out from that the beast of the field argument we were talking
It
about
just
earlier.
helped our case.
Yeah.
Right. It just helped our case even more, because it's talking about an admixture between us. Because obviously, when it says I will sow the house of Israel and the house of Judah with the seed of man, it's talking about the separation of where our people are scattered, because our people are mixed in with the other nations. Just like we read when you read Hosea 7:8, it's talking about double meaning. It's talking about us mixing in with the Canaanites and Egyptians and nations that we were not supposed to mix in. But it's also talking about us mixing in with their customs when it comes to, I think it's spoken of in Psalm, in the book of Psalms, speaks about that. I'm gonna see if I can find it. There it is, yeah. Psalms 106:35. I'm gonna read it. Psalms 106:35. Let's go there real quick. Okay, there it is. Psalms 106:35 says, "But will mingle among the heathen and learn their work." So you see that? So us mixing in, it also means us mixing in with their customs. Just like when we came into the land of Canaan, which is our land. When we came into the land of Canaan, what did we do? We mixed in with their Canaanites and their customs. Not only did we mix in with their customs, but we also mixed in our bloodlines. And this is why we read in Ezra and Nehemiah, when Ezra made our people make a vow that we would put our women away and their children. Why? Because first of all, they weren't following our customs. I'm pretty sure there were, the women weren't even also following our customs as well. Plus, they marry a nation that we're not supposed to marry. Just like we read in Deuteronomy chapter 7, 1 and 3, when it says that we were not allowed to marry the 7 Canaanite nations by law. It's a statute, right? So that's basically what it's going to when you read Jeremiah, whatever scripture the brother shares. So that whatever his understanding is not what he's saying. So that's the thing. Brothers just want to use scriptures and not understand what they're quoting. Why? Because a lot of our people are brainwashed by a lot of these doctrines from One West and their offshoot camps, and a lot of these Canaanites and Hamitic mindset that they have, and that's what they're teaching our book with a twisted mindset, and our people are being brainwashed. So the whole admixture of Jeremiah 31, when it says that the most is gonna separate us from the amongst the seed of man, it's talking about us being brought in from our scattering from the four corners of the earth. That's basically what it's going to do. And we're talking about the beast of the field. It's also referring to that as in going into Deuteronomy chapter 7, not to marry the Canaanites and so on and so forth. So And that also helps our case when it comes to, the beasts of the field. Who are the beasts of the field? Why do we read about the beasts of the field, and who are these so-called beasts of the field? What nation are they? Brothers don't want to address that, just like they don't want to address who are the Canaanites today. We've been waiting for an entire year and a half, almost 2 years now, and a lot of these camp members, a lot of these so-called leaders and elders that are 20 plus years in the so-called truth, they don't have answers. They don't have answers as to who are the Canaanites. If they don't have answers as to who are the Canaanites, guess what? They are not going to have answers as to who are the beasts of the field that the Bible speaks of. So,
Yeah, whoever this MH guy is, he's pretty funny, man. He says a lot of black women have tails. I've dated them. But I want to talk about it says Gypton Games. It says greetings. I'm new to your channel. Stumbled on videos about the gypsies. Coming from the tribe of Israel. He says awesome content. Learn.
let me see what he said.
On that. And Alan, I believe Alan.
Oh wow,
Alan,
yeah, man.
Isn't Alan this brother from Facebook? The Gadite brother.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, man.
He says
I had an interview with. Go ahead.
No, he's saying he said he just called the camp leaders are Canaanites.
I mean, a lot of them are. Most of them are. It's just the brothers that deal with that, And then you got these dumbass, stupid, simpleton mindset individuals like Chokma. I don't know. You know Chokma, right? Chokma. That ex-IUIC member.
Oh man.
Chokma, whatever.
Yeah, Mike did a number on him.
He did. He got slaughtered to pieces. It was embarrassing, but that goes to show you that it's just like Mike was telling him, like, listen, brother, listen, you are still brainwashed with the system of IUIC. Just like, remember when you and I used to be in that camp of kings and priests? Remember a lot of them leaders in that camp still held on to IUIC doctrines, even though they claimed that they changed their garments. They were wearing black with gold, right, and fringes, but their doctrines were the same. It's the same garbage. So what is the point of brothers changing your attire? You're not purple anymore. You're not purple and gold. Now you're black and gold, but your doctrines are the same. What is the point? You're still being a liar unto our people. Kings and priests are a bunch of liars. Just like, remember, you invited your wife, and your wife came into the house of Brother Reuben, and your wife asked you, like, well, what is an image? What is that image of an African man in the wall? Like, I thought we were not supposed to worship idols, whatever. So it's the same nonsense. It's the same nonsense that is going on within a lot of these camps. MH, he said, is Canaanite blood found angel blood like Esau? They both are neighbors. Like, first of all, Esau came from Isaac. So Esau, Edom, so-called white men, they're still Hebrews regardless. And they're still Israelites as well, because they come, in a way, they're Hebrews, but they're not Israelites, but they're Hebrews still regardless. They know our laws. That's why you look at their judicial system. They have similar laws that are similar to Torah, right? So they're not. Esau is not a fallen angel. That's why a lot of this the Kemet community is pushing that ideology that the white man is a new creature in the world, and whatever they like. But I believe that's a fallacy. I mean, who knows? There could be some hybrids that we don't know about when it comes to genetic experiments, because the white man has been doing genetic experiments since the 1930s, when you have that sheep that was cloned back in the 1930s. We're talking about back in the 1930s. Now imagine we're in 2020. Imagine the technology that they have right now. And that goes into connection with the nanotechnologies that they're trying to inject into people's bodies with the so-called vaccination. That's basically what this whole thing is going into. Because, and I said this before in one of the videos that got deleted from my YouTube channel by YouTube himself. They deleted one of our videos because I spoke about the conspiracy of vaccinations and how vaccinations are gonna have nanobot technology that is to invade your nervous system. And this is in connection with what Christ said, because Christ said, hey, listen, when you see the abomination of desolation coming into Jerusalem, flee to the mountains. Now, what was the abomination of desolation? It was the Romans coming in to desolate the temple and to sacrifice pigs and unclean animals into the temple. Now, how would you translate that into the spiritual realms today in our life? Well, they have nanotechnology that is going to invade your inner man, your temple, your holy of holies is up here, your mind. Your mind is the holy of holies. That's where the mind of God resides. This is where the management is. Your brain is the management of your entire system. Your nervous system is connected to your brain. So imagine if there is an outside invasion of nanobot technology, which is basically going to rival the genes, because the genes are basically nanobiological technology that was created by the Most High. So, but now Isa wants to have nanotechnology that is going to basically clash with the biology of our system. So that's going to invade your system. It's going to take over, and now your temple is going to be invaded. And that's the abomination of desolation that I strongly believe that's the abomination of desolation coming into your temple to take over. And that will be part of the mark of the beast, which also the mark of the beast is not just the chip. It has to do with religious ideologies that has already been marked within your spiritual men, that has made an imprint in your spirit, man. That's why a lot of people cannot convert, because their mind is already made up. It's marked. It's like seared with the hot iron. When you heat up a metal, it turns red hot, and you imprinted it into flesh of men. It leaves a mark. You see, like my hand has a mark. I don't know if you can see it. You see that? It leaves a mark. And so that's basically what it's talking about when we read in the book of Timothy, that some people have their minds seared like iron, like a hot metal that has imprinted your mind, and it heats it up to the point that when it dries out, it's a mark, it never leaves your body. And that's basically an ideology. That's like brainwashing. And that's part of the mark of the beast too, an ideology being imprinted in your mind. And it's not only being done by the white, guess what? It's being done by the Canaanites within these camps. So
yeah, what's also scary about that is a lot of people are just not going to be ready for it. You know what I'm saying? Because again, with the COVID-19 and all this what's going on, they're going to force these vaccinations, or force us to get the mark, right? So are people, really prepared for all that? What are you people preparing to do when you're no longer allowed to buy food? You're no longer able to travel. You're no longer able to send your kids to school or even go to work or shop without getting the vaccine, without getting the mark. What are you people planning to do when the government knocks on your door and basically are going to force you? Just like that video you showed me, remember, like a week and a half ago in Canada, about how the police went into the people's house and forced them to go to the hospital.
Yeah,
again, I don't believe a lot of people are
yeah,
going to be ready for that. The bloodshed that's going to happen, the civil war, basically another civil war, even in our own country, that's going to take place.
right, right, exactly, man, exactly. So this whole thing has many levels because and it's not just now that this whole thing is coming out. This has been a preparation for ages. For remember the Illuminati, the Masons, the all of them, the Brotherhood, the secret societies, the powers that be, the cabal, whatever you want to call it, whoever they are, I don't give a damn. But they don't plan a week ahead. They don't plan a month ahead. They don't plan 2 years ahead, bro. They plan 100, 1,000 years from now, bro. And they have it planned out to the T. And now this whole COVID-19 is one of the many psychological operations to implement onto humanity to test where humanity is at mentally, spiritually, psychologically too. You know, and this is why TVs play an important role in the brainwashing and the preparation of the mental state of people. Now, brothers that don't know, I have a background in witchcraft and stuff. Now, witchcraft is really powerful because what are TVs? Now, what is divination? What is scrying? Now, scrying is basically divination with the black mirror. You see this? This is a black mirror. This is basically now your TV is basically a gateway that is being access to the electricity. This is an energetic field. Brothers don't understand that, bro. This is why I don't have TVs in my house. You know why? Because the TVs work as a gateway to a lot of demon activity that enters your house through gateways. It sounds like yo, you're bugging out, man. You're watching too much movies. It's not about movies. It's not about TVs. It's not about sci-fi. This is a real subject when it comes to people that understand how the spiritual realms work, how gateways work within the realms. And the only way that they can access this world is through portals and gateways. And the TV is one of those gateways. Well, TVs have been used by the white man through the programs like MK Ultra and other different programs in order to come into your household and basically prepare you for the age to come, which is now what we're seeing today. So it's been a preparation for years, man. It's not just now. This COVID-19 is a game of psychology. It's a game of psychology to see, it's at Northern Kingdom Prophet. Shalom, brother. Shalom. Let me know if you want to come in and talk about stuff. I'm going to share the link in the comment boards. So, brothers that want to come in and share your thoughts. So, this is just an open discussion for brothers to come in and share your thoughts, break bread with us. We welcome everybody else with open arms, man. We don't hate nobody. We're not a hate group. We don't hate the white man. We don't hate no nation. We hate the lies. We hate all falsehood, man. We do. We do. So Send you the link so you can feel free to come in and join us, bro. We love to hear your thoughts on a lot of things that that we've been talking about. I know you've been what we're saying when it comes to options within the some games too. Wherein times past you walk according to the course of this world. See the power of the air. That goes the whole gateways in which a lot of these demons can have access to your household through these TVs, because TVs are basically a black mirror and opening gateways to divinate, and according to witchcraft, because that's what happens within witchcraft too. According to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh, children of disobedience, right? Right.
You're starting to chopped up again. You can hear me clear though.
Why did you?
You can hear me, brother.
Jennifer, shalom, sis. I know you left. Thank you for coming in.
Yo, you can hear me, Ayash? Ayash, you can hear me?
Ready?
Hey, Ayash. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro.
Okay, I was just making sure.
Oh, there it is. Northern Kingdom brothers, man. Hold on. Yeah. I'm gonna bring in the brothers from Northern Kingdom. Northern Kingdom prophet, shalom, bro.
Shalom, it's the Watchman. Shalom, Akim. Can you hear me?
Shalom, bro. What's up, man?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. You gotta speak up a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get on my phone. So, yeah, shalom to. I want to say shalom to Jose Vega. I watched some of your debates, bro, and you're a warrior, bro. You're a monster, bro. You just be smashing on people, bro. They get all. I see him getting all mad, and I wonder to myself, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, if we was actually in the room with these brothers like this, you know what I mean? They would want to kill. They would want to kill a brother. They get so mad.
yeah. Trust
Well,
me,
that's
we've
happened
gotten
before. They threatened our lives before.
yeah, we gotten threats before. Yeah, can you hear me, brother? Can y'all brothers hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, yeah. Like I said, yeah, we've gotten threats before, man. Trust me. It's like I tell Yash all the time. It's like, yo, when you deal with people's belief systems or what people believe, you know, it can turn real ugly. You know,
Yeah, I get
just
it.
like, hey, just like just like if we was debating Muslims or other Christians, you know what I'm saying? People believe what they believe, so a lot of people will go down fighting tooth and nail for their beliefs.
Well, there's definitely no holes in your doctrine. And, you know, from what I see and what I hear in your debates, man, it's concrete, you know, and it's harsh for them to hear that, but it's concrete.
Do you belong to a camp?
No, I don't belong to a camp.
Oh, that's cool.
Northern Kingdom prophets, bro. You know what I'm saying? Not no Northern
And
Kingdom
where'd you?
prophets because I didn't see no brown faces out there doing hitting the highways and byways. So I named it Northern Kingdom prophets. I felt like I was in a hurry, frantically trying to get this message out there, and nobody was doing it. At least from the Northern Kingdom, the Hispanic tribe, so-called Hispanic tribes, and the so-called Native American tribe. And I felt like it was an urgent message that needed to get out there. So I named it Northern Kingdom Prophet, right? And go out to the highways and byways to teach my people who they are, man, and let them remember who they are.
And how did you hear about H.O. Watchman?
I'm not exactly sure. I probably have been watching you brothers about a year now or something. Hadn't been putting up a lot of videos for a while. I know you get a lot of hate and everything, but and so do I. It's just a part of it. It's part of one of our burdens. That we got to go through this hate from other people. And if it wasn't the truth, they wouldn't even bother hating. You know what I'm saying?
True that. Have you ever learned One West doctrine or what we call Black Hebrew Israelite doctrine?
Yeah, that's how I'm under that. I'm under the One West doctrine.
Oh, so you used to be in a camp, or you learned from a
No,
camp?
no, no. I never been in a camp. I never been in a camp, but I do follow the One West doctrine. You know.
Do you still follow it today? That's what I'm asking.
Yes. Yes, I do.
What do you hold true to that doctrine?
What would I hold true to it?
Yeah.
This is
What
what
do
I
you
hold
feel
true
that
to it.
what they say is
Here,
true?
here, here, here's what I hold true to it because the scripture says this is the first doctrine that was taught, right? Not by nobody came to me. I found this, right? And through this, I found the law, right? So, and through the law, my whole life had changed, and the Most High has increased me in all ways. All right. So, yes, I follow the One West doctrine because that's what I first learned. And the scripture says, don't follow after any other doctrines um, that you hadn't first learned, right? So yeah, I do follow the One West doctrine.
So you subscribe to their 12 tribe chart?
Yes, I use the 12 tribe chart. I do use that 12 tribe chart, and
So you
it's been a useful tool for me since I brought it out. This is just the truth, okay, brothers. Um, when I would go out to teach my people, I live in the barrio, bro. I go out to teach my people, and you know how our people is, right? I'd be attacked many, many times. I'd be attacked, okay? And this is just the truth. I'm testifying to you. Until I got the first day I brought that 12 tribe out there with me, I have not been attacked ever since. And that's spiritual. You know what I'm saying? Now, as far as people exactly knowing who they are, a brother could be a Levite and not know it. He may just think that he's from Issachar because these are the things I first learned. So and these are the things that I teach my people because this is my lot, is to teach our people, remind them of who our nationality is. Now, as far as me going out there on the street to teach somebody that's just come out of that is a Catholic, everything that you brothers are getting into, it's never going to sink in. I would lose them completely from the very beginning. But my lot is to remind my people of who they are. You feel me?
Let me
So
let me
you do know that we teach that so-called Negroes are Canaanites, correct?
Yeah, I know you teach that. I know you teach that.
So so but you said that you believe in the 12 patriarchs. So you believe that Negroes are Judah and Negroes are Levites and Benjamins?
This is the thing. I believe they are Southern Kingdom because this is where all of us learned it from. Even you learned it from the brothers at One West, and those brothers are Negroes, right? The doctrine came from One West, and those brothers is Negroes.
let me let me let me just say something about that. Um, Going back to your statement earlier, saying that you learned one West and therefore your life changed, and so on and so forth. Um, we have a lot of people within the Christian community where a lot of people's lives have changed also. So change is not a denominator to say that, hey, you're speaking the truth, because we can find change, morality change within a lot of different structures within the society. So now, having said that, going back to your second statement, saying that, well, we learn who we are because of one West. Well, first of all, personally, me, I already knew I was an Israelite even when I was in the Christian church. I was already celebrating the Shabbat. I stopped eating pork. I hadn't even heard of One West, nor Black Hebrew Israelites. But I already knew in my spirit that I was an Israelite. They used to call me El Jodido because they used to call me a Jew, and um, I was a leader within the Christian church. I was a worship leader and stuff for 7 years. So I led people in the Christian church, and they used to call me the Jew, the Jodido. They used to make fun of me, call me Al Jodido, like the Jew, Judío. So there is a lot of people like me out there that learn that they're Israelite, they're the Hebrews, without the influence on One West. And the greatest example, the fact that there was a great movement in South America that was not influenced by One West or their Hamitic doctrines of One West. 15 to 20 years prior to One West even being heard here in the Americas. So for you brothers to say that I learned that I was an Israelite because One West, brothers might have learned, but it's like Jose Vega said it, and we made this stance before, that the only reason why other brothers learn, that you're an Israelite, brothers, is so that you brothers learn their lies and their man-made philosophies within a lot of these camps. Because when you really do your homework and you examine the doctrines and what they teach, it's all pseudo information. It's all made up. I mean, as a matter of fact, we have a video already that we made last year, that Rabbi Four is the one that styled that ideology of King Solomon is black, the Jews are black, everybody's black, the trees are black, the water was black, even the air was black. And he was the pioneer of that ideology. So for brothers to still be blind to say, well, this is why I changed. This is, first of all, you didn't change because you changed because hold on, I'm gonna show you. John, the book of John. A lot of brothers give too much credit to men, but I'm gonna show you. In John chapter 4, it says, "No man, no man can semi-draw him, and I will raise him in the. I say that a lot of brothers like myself, I already knew I was in the Christian church. So brothers need to stop saying that, oh, because of him or because of them I changed. Well, first of all, Jose Vega and I already brought out the fact that a lot of these Canaanites have the wisdom at the level of our prophet Daniel. They're able to bring us at the same level of our prophet Daniel. We read that in the book of Ezekiel. So, and so we ask you, brothers, like, well, if you believe in one West and in the whole doctrine, then break down, Psalms 83 council, because within that council we find Canaanite nations. And the question will be, who are they today? Well, a lot of these brothers will be like, well, they're South African. And then we ask the question, okay, so when did those South Africans on the planet? You brothers don't have answers. And so very points that we can ask you brothers, the brothers don't have answers.
Okay, brother.
But yeah, man, so I
Here's
understand that.
Here's the thing. Look, if I may interrupt, brother, I'm not here to defend the Negro, bro. All right, I'm not here to defend them. I'm here to build with you, brothers, on the things that we're bringing out, according to how it pertains to the Northern Kingdom. I'm not here to defend the Negro. They have enough people to do that themselves. I'm trying to edify my people as far as how we are connected.
Brother, how do you know that you're Northern Kingdom and that you're not Southern Kingdom?
How's that?
How do you know that you're not a Southern Kingdom instead of a Northern Kingdom?
This is pertaining to the characteristics of the tribe of Issachar. I fit the characteristics of the tribe of Issachar. As far as let's see, Genesis chapter 30 and verse 18, and Leah said, God hath given me my hire, because I have given my maiden to my handmaid, and she called his name Issachar, because Issachar is a man for hire, and so am I.
Brother, but you know that scripture has to do with people being higher, right? Because the word higher there is, when you look at the word, basically all the 12 tribes are hired by the Most High. This is why we got rescued from Egypt. We got to do a job, which is to teach the nation righteousness. So the whole ideology behind the 12 tribe chart is that created by Hamite back in the 1960s to uphold themselves at the top of the chain where the rest of the tribes are being oppressed. Because what is the whole idea that 3 tribes are Negro, Africanoid, Baso, Hamitic looking people, and you got 90% or 75% of the rest of the tribes that look like all the Shemites in the rest of the world. Like, you got Ishmael, you got the Arabs, you got Esau, and so on and so forth. All the Shemitic nations, they look exactly like us, and we look like them. So, but how come you got 3 tribes that look Hamitic and African or Basal? You know what I'm saying? So, and it's what Jose Vega was saying. Why is our people still upholding to these doctrines that were created back in the 1960s by Hamites and so on and so forth?
So I'm on this phone. You're breaking up a lot, brother. But I guess I maybe misrepresent myself a little bit, because this is a part of my doctrine that is not one West doctrine. I'm showing you a picture of an Israelite woman, a handmaid of Egypt. All right, and you can see her phenotype. Okay, so this is part of my doctrine that we were Negro when we went into the land, but the Israelites look like this one right here. All right, and then that's not one West exactly. You know that they say that everybody was Negroes, and I'm not in agreement to that. I'm not in agreement to that. We all started out as Negroes, and then we were mixed in. Okay, I'm saying the Israelites started out like me right here. If I could get you a picture of it. This is a statue. That's a this statue from the model statue of an Egyptian handmaid. We know handmaid means slave or servant. And it's came out of an Egyptian tomb in 2000. It's from the era, the year 2000 BC, from the tomb of Mekhe Thebes, and this is now the Metropolitan Museum in New York. So I know, I'm not completely. I guess you would say that's not one West doctrine. Everybody was Negroes, that the Shemite people of the world look like we do, in darker tones of it. All the Shemitic people of the world, they all pretty much look like, you know what I'm saying? So that's not a one West doctrine, I guess.
Yeah, and to answer the part about me being about One West, I've never been part of One West. I learned their doctrine just like I learned a lot of people's doctrines. I listen to a lot of people and what they teach, and I like to learn people's doctrines, whether it's OT, One West, Black Hebrew Israelites, Christian
I'm back in,
apologists.
bro. Here you guys forget on my laptop.
Say again? You can hear me? You can hear me clearer? I guess he dropped off again. Bring your back connection. You can hear me, Ayash?
Yeah, I can hear.
I guess he had a bad connection.
Oh my God, you know what I wanted to do today? I was like in the mood for a freaking. Espérate, déjame.
Yeah, man. I mean, the brother means well, man. Our people mean well, but meaning well is not enough because what is the whole point of following false doctrines? If we're gonna teach false doctrines to our people, perpetrate falsehood onto our people, there's no point. There's absolutely no point. So this is why we called out everybody else, regardless if they mean well, regardless if they have good heart. Oh, we mean well. We're trying to teach our people. Fine, I give you props for that. Props for you, brother. Props for that. It's good that our people are, putting themselves out there to trying to teach the people. But if you're gonna teach, brothers gotta learn how to teach sound doctrine. And a lot of the things that a lot of our people have learned in One West is not sound doctrine. It's not sound doctrine. I don't care how coated, sugar coated or not. We're not gonna sugarcoat nothing because we're here to do a job. And our job is to basically do what Jeremiah 1:10 says, right? Let me read Jeremiah 1:10 real quick. It says, "See, Jeremiah 1:10. See, I have set thee over the nations, over the kingdom, to root out and to pull down and to destroy and to throw down, and to plant." So, in order for us to plant, guess what? You gotta just be born again. Which go in us being able to drop everything that we know and purify ourselves. Basically, like a reset button. And a lot of brothers don't want to press that red button because they already bought into the West as their God or as their source of knowledge, when your source of knowledge should be the Most High and the Spirit of wisdom herself, not one West, not a man, because the Scripture says, "Cursed be the man that trusted in a man." So why our own nation trusting in men that have perpetrated lies the past 6 years unto our nation, calling themselves Jews, Judah, Levi, and Benjamin, when they're not? We have put out lots of historical information regarding who they are, right? And still our people want to hold on to the enemy, right? But in order to plan, we have to uproot a lot of these doctrines and these roots that have grown out to be bent trees, right? So
I'm up on Wednesday and Thursday. I want to.
Yeah, and also what brothers seem to forget is that it's not really up to us to wake up the people. That's all the Most High's doing. Again, the Most High showed us how to nation build. He told us to be fruitful and multiply. The more marriages we have and the more kids we have, and then we get to teach our children who they really are. That's how we really are gonna explode as a people. So that's why I usually try to encourage brothers and sisters, to find themselves a wife, to and start planting your seed. Say, because you could go on the street every single day, all day long, trying to plant seeds. But the best seeds you could always plant is starting from your own home. Always, that's the best way to nation build. Like it's not up to us to wake up people. That's all on Yahweh if He's gonna allow that information to sink through or not.
yeah, we got Torah Night, Judah and Natsara saying, "Come on, you guys is pushing that whack doctrine."
Pushing what whack
You
doctrine?
know,
What whack doctrine? I don't know if he's even listening.
about Canaan. The Bible speaks about the judgments of Canaan
Hold on. If
in
it's
the future, right?
Judah,
We read it.
if it's such a trash doctrine, then why is it when I was on your channel, you were there, Jeremiah, whatever 7,000 was there, all you brothers were there. Y'all heard me debate the brother Mikael about the Canaanite doctrine, and not one of you guys addressed not one of the scriptures that I brought out. Not one. You know what I'm saying? All y'all did was basically just try to gang up on me and gang up on me.
Right.
That blacks are Canaan.
And
No, we don't say that blacks are Canaan.
you know what's funny about his statement? Yeah. Right, exactly. And then he's very hypocritical
No, matter of
because
fact, why don't you
I
add Judah so we can actually have a dialogue with him?
think
Add
that
him on.
there's
Yeah,
a
add him
lot
on.
of blacks. He, yeah. Hold on. Let me add this brother too. Jura Natsar, I'm gonna send the link. Hold up. I was saying that I've heard him saying many times in his lives that he believes a lot of Negroes are not even Israelites. So I don't know what he's saying. Oh, this and that and the third. He even believes himself that a lot of Negroes are not even Israelite, unless he already changed his stance. There it is.
Yeah, y'all should keep going in and out.
Jewish chat room, brother.
Yeah, this is my hair.
Northern Kingdom Prophet. Oh.
Shalom. Can you hear me? Shalom. Shalom. Shalom.
Yeah, we hear you. You can hear us?
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, sure, I could hear you. So,
Yeah, yeah,
as
just
far
like
as
this.
Go ahead, brother.
No, so I was saying to Ayash real quick. Ayash, you keep coming in and out. I don't know. You may want to move maybe to a better location in your house because your mic keeps coming in and out.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, brother.
It's already washed.
Yeah, I was just saying, as far as what you said, I had to come back in and I couldn't hear you on my phone and all that, so I had to come back in on the laptop, right? But anyway, I caught the last thing of what you were saying about it's not up to us to go out there on the street and teach our people who we are. But the scripture says clearly in Proverbs chapter 1, verse 20, wisdom crieth without, she utter her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the opening of the gates. In the city she uttered her voice, her words, saying, how long will you simple ones love simplicity? If I would have ran across somebody saying these things that the so-called Hispanics and Native Americans are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of, that would have rung my bell, man. If I would have one thing that I do regret is I didn't learn this truth earlier when I was a teenager or something. You know what I'm saying? Then I wouldn't got into all the mess that I did get into throughout my life. So I would disagree that it is not up to us to go out there and wake our people up, because if it wasn't for brothers making these videos on the YouTube doing that, I would have never paid attention to it, man. And once I found the truth, it changed my whole life. The Most High increased me in all ways, man.
Yeah, but my point what I was bringing out was to talk about nation building.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying as far as nation building and brothers.
I'm saying nation building. Like I said, it starts from the home. We can, like I said, it's like Ayash said earlier. It's okay to hit the streets or try to wake up your people and plant seeds, but at the end of the day, it's Yahweh who's going to wake up that person, or help him receive that message. It's not really up to us. What we can do as a people, what I'm saying, is do what the Most High said: be fruitful and multiply. We can have, marry our women, have 6,
Right.
8 kids, and then that's the quickest way to nation build. That's all I was saying. And a better way, a better strategy of how to nation build.
Well, all
And
men
also
that had
another point that another point that I want to make to add on to what Jose Vega was saying, that in order for us to teach our people, we first of all have to learn sound doctrine. And we know that a lot of these doctrines from One West are basically off. So brothers gotta first relearn a lot of things, a lot of stuff that brothers think is sound doctrine that they learn from One West, because One West, their doctrines are completely off. This is why you got the Sikari changing their stance on the breakdown on Song of Solomon, chapter 1 and 5, Jeremiah 14:2. Why? Because we brought it out. We brought it out for an entire year, and so they had to adapt. They had to relearn that Jeremiah 14:2 is not a color scripture. The Song of Solomon 1 and 5 is not a color scripture, so on and so forth. So just like I read earlier in Jeremiah 1:10, that in order for us to plant a new seed, we have to uproot what's already been grown. So that's basically my argument. I'm not against you or anybody else, being in the streets. I mean, we've been in the streets. We've been at flyer missions ourselves, Jose Vega and myself before. And so, I mean, we've done the work in camps. We've been in camps. We battle people in camps, physically in the camps with these leaders inside the camps, man, on the Shabbats. I mean, it got heated to the point where, like, Jose Vega got kicked out. He's like, I don't ever want to see that fucking bastard in my house ever again, coming up from a leader, so-called leader from these camps, mind you, all because we called out their false doctrine in person, so that's basically kind of like the battle that we have against a lot of these ones and these Masonic camps. So we don't have hatred against the brothers, you brothers teaching our people, go for it. But in order for us to really teach our nation, we have to first learn sound doctrine. That's all we're saying.
Hey, let me
Stop it.
Shalom, y'all, everybody. Ayash, Jose, and KP. Hey, I want to add on to
Shalom, brother. How you doing, man?
Shalom, brother.
Shalom, Judah Nazareth.
Shalom, KP. I want to add on what Ayash is saying. I try to hit up the group about that one camp that's like all Latino Hispanic, CFRC.
Yeah.
What about it?
What about them?
Well, I was like, yo, because that's the first group I've seen that's like all Northern Kingdom mostly. I was like, this is dope because
why is there a problem for that though?
No, it's not a problem. I thought it was a good idea.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I thought it was a good idea because I can't see how I'm with you. I can't see how Northern Kingdom would want to follow after One West doctrine. When One West doctrine was never meant to be disputed or debated. It was like Christian doctrine. So I try to tell the brothers, my Latino and Hispanic brothers, I'm like, yo, don't follow after the One West camps. Like, you know what I mean? Like when all those brothers, the CFRC came around, a lot of Hispanic and Latino people paid attention. It was like there's really no groups that are representing Northern Kingdom side, so they kind of like, whatever. But the guy who I debated sounded a lot like One West, and it was like, bro, like you can't
talk about the brother Ram.
Yeah.
Rayam.
Yeah.
He's so One West, man. He's so One West. His name is different. Whatever his name is, the captain.
Even though they call themselves ex-camp members, they still basically kick the same doctrine as the camps.
Okay.
That's how I usually find it out. But you was making a comment saying about the doctrine about Negroes being Canaanites.
Here, Jose, you might want to say it one more time, bro.
No, I said I read your comments. You was writing saying that how we teach the doctrine of how blacks are Canaanites or all blacks.
Y'all been teaching that. Come on, man, stop it.
No, I'm saying like that's what you wrote on your comment board, right?
Yeah. Y'all been kicking that Quanalawa doctrine.
How is that a Quanalawa doctrine when plenty of Negroes teach the same thing?
Because Quanal started kicking that right after he got destroyed by Rob Rack. And the other thing is Quanalawa is half black, not Latino.
No, my point is that there's been Negroes that's been teaching that they are Canaanites hundreds of years before Quanal was even born, and we brought this out plenty of times.
Yeah.
Like we usually deal with brothers like you who think that Quana came up with this doctrine or that we came up with this doctrine. We remind brothers every single time that we did not create anything. This is something that Negroes been teaching for a minute now. There's plenty of Negroes on YouTube, even on Facebook, that teach that they are the Canaanites.
Like Nobel or more scientists and people. Come on, man, stop it, man.
You have the yes, you have the Moors. I was one of the we brought out that information how one of the first Moorish temples
Up with
was
that, brother.
made
As
what?
if you saying that is gonna change.
What you were saying, Nayash? Well, anyways, like I was saying,
Hold on, I don't know what
like,
happened with my
it's not
screen,
even
but
again, Judah. It's not
I was
even just
talking to
it's not
Judah
just
Natsara.
the what?
There's delay.
Oh, it's delay. No, Judah, what I was saying basically was that it's not just the Moors that teach this, it's the Kemet community. That's even where I believe that Kwana learned it from. I think Kwana learned it from the Kemetic community because I've seen plenty of videos for even the Kemetic elders. They even teach that the Bible teaches that Negroes are Canaanites. Matter of fact, there's a video, I've even exposed the video that was made of, I believe, like 4 years ago with a Kemetic elder, and he was in the room with Captain Tazariak, Divine Prospect, Shaka Outmost, and it was a whole bunch of brothers in that room.
Okay.
And the Kemetic elder was basically telling them in their face to Divine Prospect and to Captain Tazariak that the Bible teaches that Negroes are Canaanites, that they're the most cursed people, that they are the lowest of all slaves, and things of that nature. And I don't see, and when I see that video, I didn't see Captain Tazariak or anybody speaking up against that information. But again, it's been Negroes that's been teaching this stuff for years. That's all I'm saying. We did not come up with this doctrine. We just brought it around the circle, what you would call the circle, the Hebrew One West Circle, you want to call it, and we gave them wind of it. And
come on, man.
It blows up.
Come on, man.
Come on, what? But brother, let me ask you. Can I ask you a question? Who do you teach? Who do you teach are the Canaanites then?
They're various peoples.
Can you identify with us?
You have certain Africans that are Canaanites. You got certain whites that are mixed in with Canaanites. You got Arabs that are mixed in with Canaanites.
Hold on. Certain Africans. Who Africans? Yeah. Who are these certain Africans? Can you be more specific?
There are certain West Africans, Central Africans.
Can you be more specific? Like countries,
brother, certain Africans. It's a broad term, brother. Come on, man.
America's
Come on, brother. Come on, brother.
America's a huge continent, and everyone doesn't look the same, bro.
Okay, so
come on, brother. Come on. Just be more specific.
But you do acknowledge that when you make statements like that, like, well, there could be West Africans, South Africans, or whatever they could look. The reason why we're asking you these questions is because we're going to ask, well, whoever you're claiming to, whatever country, tribe that you're claiming to, we're going to ask you next is how did they fulfill the curse which fell upon the seed of Canaan?
It hasn't happened yet.
So, are you saying Genesis chapter 9 hasn't happened yet? Canaan serving all nations?
No.
Hasn't happened yet?
No.
Can I ask
so
this?
Then how can you claim that those people that you...
So, can you agree that Israel was scattered in ancient times? Would you agree with that?
Of course.
In the time of Daniel, right?
And before, yeah.
Okay, then. So yeah, hold on. So if Israel was already scattered, right, in ancient times, when did the so-called Southern Kingdom come back together, right, and then was going to be scattered again in the 1600s, as you guys, well, most Negroes teach?
Might want to rephrase that question, Jose. I'm not quite sure where you're getting there, bro.
Like, if we know that Israel was scattered in ancient time, how do you substantiate the so-called transatlantic slave trade of 1600 of so-called Southern Kingdom being gathered in one place in West Africa or whatever the case you want to claim that you came from, and then were dispersed around the nations?
Because the Israelites have never we've been just moved around, enslaved. It was never like you get caught up by one people and then you just remain. No, man. Like, what do you mean, bro? Like it's a perpetual.
When did my brother? What I'm asking is, when did the Southern Kingdom come back together from the scattering from the ancient times?
We didn't come back together.
Exactly. So then, how did you guys end up in West Africa 1,600 years later, and then we're scattered? That's what I'm asking you. If we know that Israel was scattered in ancient times, why are you claiming that the people who got scattered in the 1600s? What does that have to do with Israel? That's all I'm asking.
Okay. Well, I have like I said, I have white authors who went to West Africa, and so there were black Israelite tribes living over there. So, but that's
you know what? I did a video addressing that source that you pulled about those Europeans who said that they saw black Jews, but this says it was despised by the who? Who were they despised by? By the Negroes. No, this said the book said Negroes. So the author, those Europeans knew the difference between black Jews and Negroes. That's why it said that they were despised by the Negroes.
They called everybody on the continent Negro.
Then why didn't they say the black Negroes or the black Jews? It didn't say that they were Negroes. It said that it made a clear separation.
Jose, let's not be dishonest, brother. You know damn well it said they were black Jews, bro.
No, again, there are black Asians, there are black Arabs, there are black East Indians, there are black Hispanics, there are black. Again, all races range from different shades, from light to dark. So just because they saw black Jews there doesn't mean that they had African phenotypes or that they were Negroes. Again, because they said that the black Jews were despised by the Negroes. Those Europeans knew what a Negro was and knew what a black Jew was. Separation, brother.
Do you want this?
It's the same way I'm here in Japan and a white lady points to me and says, "Where are you from?" Well, I'm around a bunch of Africans. Come on, man. These people know who is who. They know full well that ain't no so-called Negro in African. You're not gonna. If you saw a Negro in Africa, you'd be like, "What are you doing here?" Come on, man. You know full well. Stop it, bro.
I would, brother. Again, even from the book of Hebrewisms of West Africa, right? The author of that book, I believe he's a Negro. He even states that the black Jews that he says that were there in Africa resembled the colors of the Arabs of North, and that they were not black in color. As what they would say as an African.
Let me
Jose. Come on,
brother, let me add to what Jose Vega is saying when it comes to Jura. Give me a minute, brother. Let me add to what the brother Jose Vega is saying. I'm gonna read a piece of a book called. I'm actually gonna read what Dr. Noble Ali was teaching back in the 1960s. This is why Jose Vega is saying that this is not a doctrine that we learned from Kwana. And like Jose Vega is saying, Kwana might have learned it from the Brothers of the Kemet, or even back in the Dr. Drew Ali, because that's basically, read this article real quick. It says, the inhabitants of Africa are descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan. The Moabites from the land of Moab, who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit Northwest Africa. They were the founders, true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire, with their Canaanite, Hittite, and Amorite brethren who sojourned from the land of Canaan seeking new homes. Their dominion and inhabitation extended from northeast and southwest Africa across Atlantis, even onto the present North, South, and Central America, and also Mexico and the Atlantic islands. According to all true and divine records of the human race, there is no Negro, black, or color race attached to the human family, because all the inhabitants of Africa were and are under of the human race, descendants of the ancient Canaanite nation from the holy land of Canaan. what your ancient forefathers were, you are today without a doubt or contradiction. There's no one who's able to change men from the descendant nature of his forefathers unless his power extends beyond the great universal creator, Allah himself, because that's what he believed. Dr. Noble Drew Ali, The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, chapter 45 and 48. So it's like I heard you say this many times, Judah, on your lives, that you believe that our Negroes are Israelites. You believe that a lot of them are Hamites and even Canaanites themselves.
Yeah,
So, I
and
mean,
even
we believe that, hold on. We believe that through their spiritual connection and the spiritual vibration, a lot of brothers are gonna give themselves away because even though they claim, be Hebrews, and even though they claim, their spirit is geared towards Kemet. Their spirit is geared towards being Hamites. You can't change them. It's just like the brother Dr. Drew Ali says, like you cannot change someone's nationality because their spirit, the spiritual vibration, is already connecting themselves back to their roots at a spiritual quantic level. You know that. You know what I'm
And
talking about.
and Judah, just like when I was debating on your channel when I broke down Ezekiel 28, you have to admit, like the brother saying about testing the spirit. Again, you have so-called Negroes in America who are pushing doctrines talk about the black man as God and that the woman is God and that we all come from the woman and she's the power and things of that nature. That's why I broke down Ezekiel 28, the characteristics of these Canaanites and exposing them. Now again, you can say that's the new N word, whatever the case may be, brother. We have plenty of so-called Negroes that we're very cool with, and we build with all the time. Because why? Because their spirit bears witness with our spirit that they are Israel. So I don't really care about your skin color or whatever the case may be. But when you have a doctrine coming out saying that this race of people is this, that's just false to say that just all Negroes are this because they were part of the transatlantic slave trade or whatever the case may be. To me, I just can't fathom it. Even according to the New Testament, James 1:1, it tells you, the 12 tribes that are scattered abroad. So we know that Israel has always been scattered all throughout, even in ancient times. They never came back as a people again, and then they will be scattered again. That's why I asked you about, about why would you say that slaves from the 1600s would be Israelites but not Canaanites? Because Canaan, even though you said that Genesis 9 wasn't fulfilled yet, you would have to acknowledge that the transatlantic slave trade, if it was talking about the Canaanites, that it would make perfect sense because were scattered to all nations and they served a lot of nations and built a lot of nations.
actually, as of right now, Canaan is independent and free. So many of the Canaanites who mixed in with Edom, Ishmael, and the Hamites, and they're like free right now. So that they have not been subjected as slaves perpetually as of yet.
Exactly,
So
and that's another point that you bring out, and I'm glad you said it because we're not going off of color and phenotypes. Because guess what? There's gonna be white people that are gonna be canonized because they mixed in back in the during the time of the black the Dark Ages, when a lot of the more canonized were ruling Europe, especially when they took over Iberia and Spain, and they scattered themselves abroad to Eastern Europe and whatever the like, and you got a lot of the royal bloodlines of Moors, so-called canonized from Carthage and stuff that were there. So guess what? They were practicing what we call prima nocta, which is basically when there's a marriage and the king has to sleep with wife first before her husband does. And guess what? A lot of these Moors were, they have a progeny with a lot of these white women, European women. And so you have the progeny of a lot of these Canaanite Moors in Europe today, and even here in the Americas, especially back in the 1960s 1660s to the 1800s, when a lot of these so-called black men, Africans, were basically being interbred amongst themselves, therefore thus creating what we call the mamsters today, which is a lot of mamsters within the African community today. And brothers don't want to accept that because a so-called Latino is saying that, and so-called Hispanics are saying that. And so the slander goes around to say, well, Latino lights or this and that and the third, which is that's not the case because we're not going off of color. Like Brother Jose Vega is saying, like we know many black African brothers that claim Israel, but their spirit is geared towards righteousness, man. It's geared towards truth. It's not geared towards Kemet, mixing Kemet with this right here. You know, and we got a lot of brothers like that within One West, where they claim to be Israelite, but they're wearing an ankh, or they're wearing red, blue, and black. Which I'm not against brothers wearing red, blue, and black. You want to claim Kemet. That's it. So
Yeah, so brother,
I don't know what happened. I think he left.
Yeah, I think Judah Nazareth fell off. So
yeah, let me
what
invite
I
him
hear,
again.
Salakia. What I heard, Jose of Vega, that's your brother's name, right? Jose of Vega, Varga.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Jose Varga. Jose of Vega says Vega. So he said not too long ago, just a little bit ago, that saying one people, that he can't fathom that one people would be a group of people would be Israelites. But isn't that not your doctrine that the Hispanics and Native Americans, well, actually, I hate that word Hispanic, bro. Let's just say the Aboriginal people of the Western Hemisphere are Israelites, right? And that's a group of people, right? Is that not your doctrine?
Yes.
I'm not understanding.
Okay, because
yes, but we don't. But what we don't do is teach tribalism. Meaning, oh, if you're from Puerto Rico, you're this, or you're from this island, you're that.
Yeah.
We just say if you're a native of this land, whether in North, Central, or South America, or even Australia, you are most likely an Israelite. Like point blank, period. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now to say like now notice now the point was. The point of me asking Judah Nazareth about to point out who the Canaanites are, you saw how he kind of painted the brush with a wide brush. You know what I'm saying? He didn't want to get a specific answer. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, okay, fine. If we're wrong that the Negroes aren't Canaanites, whatever, and there are Israelites, but we still need to identify the Canaanites. You see what I'm saying? So if and that's the argument that we usually bring to so-called Negroes, because okay, well, if you're not the so-called Canaanites, then help us, teach us, right? You guys claim to be Judah, you should be so swift with these scriptures that you can identify them. Just how quick how you're good to identify Esau, like how you're good to identify Ishmael, Elam, and all those other nations. But why can't you point out who the Canaanites are? Why are you guys having such a difficult such a hard time figuring that out?
Exactly.
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, exactly. So to add to what Jose Vega is saying, it's also and to address what Northern Kingdom Prophets is saying. Well, you guys are saying that natives and Hispanics are Israelites, but obviously, again, we're not going off of the chart. We're saying like, well, where are you from, brother? Oh, you're Mexican. Okay, well therefore you is. Well, no, because when you look at history like that, especially back in the 1800s, you have I don't know if I'm breaking up, but you have what's his name, the natives of Florida. What are they called again? Anybody can help me out?
The Seminoles.
The natives of Florida. I forgot.
The Seminoles.
Seminole Indians. There you go. Thank you, brother. Yeah, the Seminole Indians. Guess what? They were the only tribe that was not conquered by the white men, but they were given free passage to go where? They went south to Mexico, right? And they're now in what we call Sonora and the northern parts of Mexico, It's what we call the people of the Tarahumaras that are there today. And so, guess what? If one of those Tarahumaras was to come to the United States and they're walking around the streets of LA and they see you brothers bringing it out, and then you ask the brothers, the Tarahumara brothers, like, where you from, brother? And then they're gonna be like, we're from Sonora, we're from Mexico. What are you gonna say? Oh, well, therefore you Issachar. Well, false, right? That's false. That's a fallacy already. Why? Because you don't know that a lot of our people migrated. That our people were shifted around back and forth. People from the Incan Empire were shifted to the islands. The people from the islands were shipped into the inward parts of the land of the Meso, like Aztec Empire. The Aztec Empire was shipped to the north. The northern tribes, like the Native Americans, were shipped to the south. So there was a scattering around of all the tribes because
All right,
the white.
I want you to prove
Okay,
that
we have.
what you said. Because look, here's my frustration with you brothers.
Hold on, brother. I'm gonna prove it.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm gonna prove it. I'm gonna prove it because again, we've been proving these for the past year and a half. It's just that you brothers don't want to listen to that.
No,
because you're stuck with your doctrine.
No, here's the.
And then when I say you guys, I'm talking about all our people. And I say that with the most love and respect to you brothers because
I take no offense to anything. But here's my frustration with you brothers, is that you spend a lot of time and energy trying to disprove the Negro, and when it could benefit our people more, that you patch up our history and connect the dots for the people that don't know what you're talking about.
Brother, we have various lessons. We have various teachings. As a matter of fact, we're in the works of breaking down Deuteronomy 28, verses 15 to 68, with 3 sources of witnesses in connection with our people. And then we got a brother named Jeremiah that he's done a great job on breaking that down also. So we're gonna bring that out eventually, but it's in the works.
Let me just read this.
I'm gonna read.
Let me read one scripture.
Yeah, hold on. Hold on, brother. You asked me to prove.
All right,
hold on, brother. Before we lose the thought,
go ahead.
You asked me to prove my statement when I said that our people were shifted around back and forth. So I'm gonna read from the book right here, a brief account of the destruction of the Indies by Bartolomé de las Casas. Right. I'm gonna read a page. I don't know, page 29. Right in the middle.
Okay.
So it says, I'm gonna read the whole thing. It says, okay, and it says, and this being frequently repeated in the space between the year 1523 and 1533, the kingdom lost. When it says the kingdom, it's talking about South America, right? It says the kingdom lost all their inhabitants, for in 6 or 7 years' time, there were constantly 5 or 6 ships made ready to be freighted, many boarded with Indians, that were sold in the regions of Panama and Perusium, where all they die, right? For it is by daily experience provided and known that the Indians, when transported out of their native country into any other, you see? So a lot of our people were being shipped around from the country of origin because obviously they knew the land, so they could flee. So the white men didn't want to flee around.
And also,
people have to be.
That's fire, bro. That's fire information, man.
Also, brother, Northern Kingdom Prophet. If I have you as a friend on my Facebook, I'll tag you to the lesson because I brought out at least 3 or 4 sources stating the same thing. We have a source from Howard University, the college, of how the natives were shipped not only to throughout the Americas, but were shipped out to Europe, was shipped out to Northern Africa, was shipped out to the Philippines, was shipped out, to various places. And I also brought out another another source. Um, it escapes the top of my head right now, but like I said, I could tag you to that lesson. We brought out like 3 or 4 sources showing how we were scattered all throughout the Americas. That's one of the main reasons why we don't subscribe to the 12 tribe chart. You know what I'm saying? Because we know that a lot of people that were taken from South America were taken to the Central America, and Central America to the islands to North, whatever the case may be. We were scattered even throughout the Americas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't mess with Facebook. I don't dig the spirit of it, man. I had got it like when for a couple months. I just didn't dig it, bro. It seemed like a lot of gossip and you know. So I don't mess with Facebook. But you know what I'm saying. I wish you brothers would you know, put it out on the YouTube, whatever. You know, put the videos out here on your channel, man, because that's some valuable information to brothers like me that are constantly battling these BOIs, these black only Israelites, man. It's a constant battle with these fools, and you know, that's some fire information, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. We're in the process right now of editing all our videos because we have all our lessons in Jose Vegas' timeline, my timeline. As you brothers know, Jose Vega's strength is basically debating a lot of these Negro lives, a lot of these one Westers stuff. My strength is more like teaching and stuff. But Jose Vega and myself, we have all our videos in our timeline, so it's taking me a while to edit and upload the videos on our channel. But eventually, I'll get there. But we have tons of videos there, bro. We have tons of information regarding, like, you know, like the picture right here that you see. You see the Battle of Lachish is right here. You know, where you see a lot of the people that was that are the real Jews that look non-Negro. You know, and we brought this out before, but brothers don't wanna adhere to the information because it debunks their, you know, their ideology. So
And that's the reason why that's the reason why we even started this channel. You know what I'm saying? So for brothers like you can get on, and if you have questions, brother, we're here to answer questions. Like we this is why we do lives on Facebook and stuff like that, to edify anybody who is curious or want to know about sources, archaeology, artifacts, and we can help brothers seek that information.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for from y'all, man. Let me. I do got a question. Let me ask you about the black Jews of Cochin, India. But they're not black as what you would call Negro. See, that's one of the terms I got a problem with too, because black is synonymous with Negro, right? And I got a problem with that because anybody of dark skin tone they would call black, right? And immediately people assume that means Negro when it's not. It's not synonymous. Black is not synonymous with Negro. But there's some Jews, and I think I seen something on one of your videos, Ayash, about it was called the Gypsies, right? The black Jews of which they look like the black Jews of Cochin, India. There's also some other that look more like our phenotype, right? Let's see.
yeah.
The
Well, as a matter of fact,
the Sephardic Jews, the Mizrahi, the Beni Israel, the Baghdad Jews, you know, they look more like, you know, our phenotype.
they do, bro. And I when we brought out the subject of the Gypsies being the Jews, the Southern Kingdom, Levites and Judites and Benjamites, the most I put it in our way is to meet a lot of these gypsies in the streets, bro. It was a spiritual meeting. It was a spiritual connection that we had. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna post an interview that I did with an actual gypsy that I met in the streets. It was basically like a divine meeting that the most I put him in my way, and I already knew he was a gypsy. You know, he looks like Mexican, bro. He looks like you.
Right.
He looks straight up like you would think he's Mexican. You would think he's Mexican. But then I asked him, si I'm Rom, and he flipped out, bro. He flipped out. It's like, how do you know? He freaked out, bro. Well, because a lot of the gypsies are very secretive amongst themselves because they don't want to tell the world that they're gypsies, because all throughout the history of the world, they have been oppressed, they have been enslaved, so on and so forth. Even Europe, even today, I mean, you look in Europe, in the ghettos of Europe, you will see so-called gypsies. They look like us. They look like our mothers, bro. They look like our aunties, like our aunts, nuestras tías, and all that stuff,
Yeah.
because they're our people. And so I'm going to post that interview, bro, and your brothers are gonna flip out because when you look at the brother, you would think he's like a cholo. He looks like a straight up cholo, but he's a gypsy, and he even speaks in gypsy, and then he gives a message to all the gypsies in the world, bro, in their language.
And
So
yeah, a lot of
our people are there, bro.
yeah, a lot of people don't realize that that's one of the survival tactics of the gypsies. Whether they were in the Eastern Hemisphere or when they came over here in the Western Hemisphere, they mixed in with our people. Like a lot of people don't understand that a lot of Hispanics are gypsies and just don't even know it. Same thing in South America. You know what I'm saying? You know, with the brothers from Peru and stuff like that. I believe that a lot of those brothers are gypsies in origin.
So what is that? What is a gypsy?
You drank like fucking 3 beers today.
What do you mean? What is it?
What's up, brother? What
is it? What's the
Yes.
gypsy? Where does it come from?
It was a name. It was a name.
Well,
I believe it was given, but it was a name given on them because a lot of people thought that they were actual Egyptians. That's one rumor. Yeah, that's one rumor. But because that's the first, because for some that's the furthest that they can trace their them going back to as Egyptians. But others also will say that they're Indian, because some people will trace them back to East. Was it West India? What? No, West Asia. I'm sorry.
West, no, northwest, northwest India, because that's where they migrated to when they were living in Egypt. So the word gypsies is a misnomer. It's basically like a Bible and a proverb because they're not really gypsies. When they call us, wetbacks or all sort of stuff, those are misnomers, proverbs, bywords.
Yeah,
so the word gypsies is just that, but their true heritage is the Southern Kingdom, because remember during the times of Jeremiah chapter 40, 41, 42, 43, 45, all those chapters, they speak on the migration of the Southern Kingdom going into Egypt because they didn't want to live in Jerusalem because they were afraid that they were going to get invaded again by the Babylonians or the Assyrians. So they're like, no, F this place, we want to live in Egypt. So they went back to Egypt. And so a lot of the Southerners back in Egypt. And so when Egypt got invaded by the Assyrians, because the Assyrians basically went over there too, they stay there. And obviously a lot of them die. You read in the scriptures, the Most High say, listen, return to Jerusalem. A lot of the Jews didn't want to return, so they stay. A lot of them die, and a lot of them stay. So during the time of the ages, they didn't want to stay in Egypt, so they fled eastward. That's when you found them in India. And that's where the research goes, and that you hit a wall. You hit a wall when you do the research, like, well, these were Hindi. They're Hindu people. Well, wait a minute, they're not Hindu. Actually, you can trace them back then, but when you do the research, you trace them back to Jerusalem.
Well, let me show you
Jeremiah and
that's what I'm how do you say reverse engineer this, man? All the way back. I know where we at now, what year it is now, but then I know, who we was in 1492, and then I know who we was in 780 BCE in the Assyrian captivity. Now I'm trying to reverse engineer past that, going back and taking my steps back in time, trying to build a solid foundation so other brothers could follow that path, right? And when you're talking about the India, that's what I was just asking you about, was the Cochin Indians. And here's a picture I could try to show you from my phone. This is the Cochin Indians, or Salakia, the Cochin black Jews. All right, let me try to show this to you on my camera. These are the black Jews of India.
Khan, brother, like I said, there's a. I remember I showed a video. I think they're called you can look up Tigra Gypsy, I believe, and they do look like that. They look like almost like East Indians, dark skin and stuff like that. There's many different types of gypsies also.
All right, brother. Yeah, man. Listen, I'm gonna give you a snippet. I'm gonna give you a sneak peek of the interview. Okay, so check this out. This is the brother that I did the interview for. You see that? You see him?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
black. He's dark skinned. He's a gypsy. I have the video. It's 7 minutes, right? I'm not gonna give you like the interview right now because I want to make an actual video and post it on our channel. But look at the brother. Look at the brother.
You said he's
He
black?
looks like a straight up cholo, like Mexican.
Yeah.
He's black, dark.
Uh-huh.
But he is our people. I'm gonna share this video, bro. This is a very powerful interview that I did in the street. And this is the Mosai doing.
He just looks like a dark Mexican brother. He looks to look like a dark Mexican brother.
He does, but he's a gypsy. He speaks Roma. He speaks, because they invented their own language. Roma is basically a mutation of the Sanskrit of India and their own vibration. They gave it their own vibration, so they created their own language. It's very separate from the Sanskrit of India. So I'm gonna put the interview, but as you brothers look, the brother looks straight up black. And now this black is not the same as a Negro. He's still a black man, as in Negro, dark skin, but not black in the sense of, African American. But he looks like. I'm gonna give you a snippet. I'm gonna play the video. Hold on. I'm gonna play the video. Hold on.
This is the brother right here.
Hold on.
This is Charlie. I'm out of the dimension. I'm a gypsy, and it's no coincidence how I stopped him. So I was gonna leave the lot, and I saw his car. I was up the street, stopped him, and I asked his dad. And I started talking about gypsy.
That's it. Don't get too excited, bro. But the Mosa is waking up the tribes, man, and that's what Jose Vega said. This is the Mosa doing. All we are is nothing more than conductors. We are the conductors of the waters that is running through us. This is what Christ said about. He spoke about, out of your belly will spring wells of living water. What is living water? Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. The streams of knowledge, the streams of wisdom, the streams of understanding. It has to flow from us, from our inner self, from the inner temple. Just like you read it in Ezekiel 49 or 47, when it talks about the water is basically coming out of the temple and filling the outer cores, the inner cores.
Yeah, you paused, brother. You're on a froze mode or something, man. Have y'all brothers heard of the Mizraim Jews? Let me show you a picture of them too. Let's see.
Brother, I was gonna show you also, the same pictures you're showing about those Jews, right? Right. They're not called tiger. They're not called tiger gypsies. They're called cobra gypsies. I'm gonna show you a picture of them too. Like I said. Hey. Hey.
Go ahead, bro.
You see it?
Yeah.
That's what you call a cobra gypsy. Hold on. I'll show you more pictures of them. You know what I'm saying? These are cobra gypsies. Oh, I can't even see anything.
Look.
Right. Yep.
So again, it has nothing to do with color because you see they're dark as hell. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's not a racist doctrine like I keep telling brothers and sisters. We're not kicking a racist doctrine at all. It has nothing to do about skin color or anything like that. But somebody has to be Canaan, you know what I'm saying? And again, and this is a question that, brothers have to ask themselves, who is the most cursed people on the planet? Because that's what Canaan is. Yes, we know that the Bible talks about Israel being cursed, but the Bible also talks about another nation being cursed and being more cursed, which is Canaan. You know what I'm saying? And we have to start and take it seriously because the Most High did make a commandment in Deuteronomy 7. He told us not to mix with those Canaanite nations. That's the only nation the Most High or Torah speaks about not mixing with. You know what I'm saying? The Most High never commanded not to mix with any other nation but the Canaanites. So if it's obvious that the Most High has a problem with the so-called Canaanites to the point where he made a law for us not to even mix with them or even have any dealings with them. And when you read in books like Jubilees and stuff like that, it gives you more of their characteristics. You know what I'm saying? They call the Canaanites haughty. You know what I'm saying? You know, their women are loose, basically. You know what I'm saying? That's why you see a lot of these rap videos. Who's doing all these damn twerking, you know? And it's just disgusting. Like, again, it's all about matching the characteristics of what the scriptures is speaking about.
Here. Is that SpongeBob?
Yeah, like I said, man. You know, here's what I got to say to that. All right, this is Acts chapter 5, verse 38. And now I say unto you, refrain from these men and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. But if it be of God, ye cannot overthrow it, least happily ye be found even to fight against Yahweh. Right? So that's where I am with that, man. You know what I mean? Like I said, these are those brothers. Here's my thing is that they actually look like the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 patriarchs in Genesis actually look more like us. And then they had mixed with the Canaanites and became Negroes. Because they try to teach the other way around, like, oh, we look like this because we some kind of product of a concubine, a brother, a Negro brother, a so-called Negro brother getting with the Edomite concubine or a so-called white concubine and produced us. But I'm not feeling that, man. And what makes more sense to me is since all the Shemitic people of the world, most of them look like us except the Edomite and the Negro. They're the only Shemitic people that don't look like us. That the 12 patriarchs look more like us, and then they mixed with the Canaanites and became Negroes.
Exactly, because Israel did this with a lot of Canaanites and other Hamitic tribes.
Yeah, we did that, and
exactly.
that's where the Negro brothers came from.
Exactly, and I think that's one of the main reasons why you have a lot of those, like you said, Negroites, or who just believe that Negroes or Israel. I feel that they came to that jealousy by looking at the 12 tribe chart. They look at the 12 tribe chart, one from one west, and they see that only 3 tribes representing Negroes, and then the rest of the 10.
Yeah, they don't like that.
Is, they don't exactly. They don't like that at all. You know what I'm saying? But they have to acknowledge that even if, according to the children of Israel, they'll still be the minority. That's just the way it is. Their chart shows it. Their table of nations shows it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I find One West to be one of the funny doctrines, because it's just too easy to for a person like me to just chew apart.
So let me ask you. There's what in Jeremiah it says that before. So let me ask you this: do you believe that we're in the last captivity, or that we have another one to go through?
Well, he got both today.
I believe that this will be our last captivity.
So the northern and southern kingdom would have to come together in the land of the north, as Jeremiah says, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And America would on the great. Is that your understanding too?
Yeah, that's why we brought out earlier, telling you how the Gypsies came over here to North, Central, and South America and mixed in with a lot of us so-called natives. And that's why I said that a lot of Hispanics are Gypsies and don't even realize it.
Isn't a Gypsy just an Israelite?
Yeah. Yeah, Israelites coming over here.
Israelites.
Yes, there were Israelites that came over against other Israelites and mixed in with Israelites. So now you have a person, say somebody who's like from Peru, who thinks that they're Peruvian, but they're really came from a Gypsy back in the 1400s. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with a Mexican.
They came from Israel.
No, they came from the Eastern Hemisphere.
Right. Is it? They're really Israelites. They're not really Gypsies. They're really Israelites.
Yeah, exactly. Just like
because Egypt is just a
all
body
us-
word.
I know that's what I'm saying. That's what they call themselves, gypsies. Just like we call ourselves Puerto Ricans or Mexicans. It's the same thing. But a lot of those gypsies, when they came over here
Right.
to the Americas in the 1400s as slaves, like I said, one of their main survival tactics is always to mix in with the people. That's how they survived in the Eastern Hemisphere. They mixed in with either Africans, they mixed in with either East Indians, they mixed in with Arabs, just to blend in with the people, so they would wouldn't be persecuted harshly. Because
So
a
you're
lot of people
saying
don't realize,
they genetically mixed in. They had babies with the Africans. The gypsies had babies with the Africans.
yes, Israel mixed with many nations. Of course, you had gypsies that mixed with Africans. You had
Right.
gypsies mixing with whites, all that stuff. That's why you even have white-looking gypsies, like that boxer, the heavyweight boxer. What's his name? Tyson Fury.
Well,
He's a so-called gypsy, right? What we would call a
yeah.
European gypsy. You know what I'm saying? He might be a real
Yeah. So
gypsy or not. I
he's
don't
just
know.
an
It's not really.
Israelite.
It's not really up to me. He might be an Israelite. Yes, he
So
might be.
what we're
That's not.
trying to
That's
get
not.
to is backtrack, because most people, like I asked you, what is the gypsy, right? And then you said that they just named them because of they these people in India thought they were Egyptian, but they're actually Israelites.
This is what I'm talking about in the drawer.
Huh.
Yeah. So my point is this, to that whole little back and forth we had right there, is that, like I said, what I'm trying to do is reverse engineer this and backtrack our steps to how we are connected to Israel, the 12 patriarchs, the so-called Aboriginal people here of America. So, like, instead of stopping at that point, oh, we come from gypsies, or some people come from gypsies, those are just more Israelites scattered abroad, right?
That would be more of the Southern Kingdom that was scattered abroad, because the Gypsies didn't come to the Americas, like I said, until like around the 1400s, the late 1400s.
Like after Christopher Columbus.
Yeah, just right after Christopher Columbus. Matter of fact, Columbus was, a lot of people don't even know this, but Columbus is the person who started the transatlantic slave trade. You know what I'm saying? So he was bringing a lot of Tainos or Arawaks back to Spain, Seville, Spain, and was selling a lot of Tainos as slaves. But then also on his voyages back, he would bring gypsies as slaves, and a lot of those gypsies, like I said, blended in with the so-called natives of this land.
He brought back gypsies.
Like I said, we have
From
all
where?
this information on our page from the Eastern Hemisphere, all from all different places. Because remember, that's what the transatlantic slave trade was. It was many nations that were a part of it, whether it was in Africa, whether it was in Europe, whether it was in Asia. All three continents had a play in the transatlantic slave trade. So if they had gypsies that were being
Let me,
sold and persecuted in Asia, and let's say they brought some of those gypsy slaves over here to the Americas, or probably sold them to the Europeans, and then the Europeans brought them to the Americas.
so you're saying that the gypsies were a people of their own genotype or nation or community in every country in the West, the Eastern Hemisphere, and they would specifically target these so-called gypsies from what country?
From many countries, the gypsies always migrated from country to country. Um, there
So
was
they
even laws. There was even laws that you were legally to hunt. You were legally allowed to hunt and kill gypsies. A lot of people don't even know that.
how would
Also,
you how would they how would they differentiate a gypsy from an Iraqi person? Like I guess you would call them Persian. I guess back then Persian.
Yes, but because again, gypsies carry a lot of their own traits. Like I said, if you watch the class that we did on the gypsies, you would see that most of the times when the gypsies traveled, they traveled with a king or somebody, I would say, in charge or rulership. Just like Israel was always known to to have a king. The gypsies will have a
Yeah,
representative.
I did watch that. I watched that
Yeah, they will
video
always
about
travel.
on the Ancient Watchman channel about gypsies.
Yeah, we I believe we explained
Yeah,
that in
well,
that.
so they're basically just Israelites. Bottom line,
Yes.
what is the by calling them a gypsy? What is the what he? I guess what
Like I
I'm
said,
trying to say is
there's many different gypsies, brother. Like I said, you have European looking ones, you have East Indian looking ones, you have Arab looking ones. Like I said, I can show you gypsies
right.
that look
Okay,
just
let
like
me ask you
Mexicans.
this.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. So they're just scattered among all nations, like the curse says in Deuteronomy 28.
Exactly.
Do you subscribe to the? Do you subscribe to the second Esdras? The Arsarith doctrine, the second Esdras
Yes.
chapter 13, verse 40.
Yes.
That's how the
I
10
don't.
tribes got here.
I wouldn't use that to say I. Well, I actually use Torah to prove that. You know what I'm saying? But I use Second Ezra 13. Because it specifically names
Show me, brother.
the American. Show you what?
Show me, brother, in the Torah. Show me
Oh, he's
the
okay.
precept
Okay,
to second
okay.
Esdras
Check
in
this
the.
out. Check this out, right? And this is gonna help you out a lot, especially against a so-called Negroite, right? Because they'll ask you, well, where the Northern Kingdom? They'll tell you what that Northern Kingdom went into Africa, right?
Yeah,
That's what they will mostly tell you, a Negroite. Uh,
yeah,
and they'll be like, well,
right.
the Northern Kingdom didn't enter. They'll be like, oh, Second Ezra it mentions no ships, and they didn't enter the ocean and stuff like
Right,
that, right? And say stuff like that, right? All right, that's cool. Go to
right.
Zechariah chapter 10 if you
Yeah,
have your sword right now. Yeah, go to Zechariah chapter 10.
yeah, I got it. One second.
I'm going to show you and prove to you right now that the Northern Kingdom, after the Assyrian captivity, entered the ocean. They did not walk on no land; they entered the ocean. Then after that,
Yeah,
I'm going to show you.
that's what I'm
I'm going
talking
to show you
about, brother.
and then after that, I'm going to show you a scripture of the ships and how basically this chapter basically says the same exact thing as Second Ezra 13 about Northern Kingdom going to.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. That's what I.
Yes, that's all in Torah, bro.
Yeah, brother, that's what I need right there, bro. Hold on a second. I gotta write this down too. You said Zechariah chapter 10.
Yeah, read verse 10 and 11.
All right, 1 second. Let me get there.
It was crazy that y'all's dropped off. I don't know what happened to him.
Oh, is this on your broadcast?
Yeah, this is on broadcast.
Mommy, hello.
Yeah, brother. All right, Zechariah 10.
Verse 10,
Verse 10.
10 and 11.
All right, this is the book of Zechariah. Salakia, brother. I'm having a little trouble here. Zechariah 10. Yeah, brother, bear with me.
I got
You
kicked
said 10
out.
and
How
11, brother?
Y'all said he got kicked out. How do you get kicked out of his own
This is
live?
the book of Zechariah, chapter 10, starting at verse 10. I will bring them again also out of the land of Egypt and gather them out of Assyria, and I'll bring
Okay,
them
right.
into the land of Gilead. Go ahead.
So who is that speaking about right there? Who came out of the land of Assyria?
The 10 tribes.
All right, so we know it's talking about the 10 tribes, right? And he says right after that, it says, and there was
Right.
no place for them to be found in the land of Gilead and all that, right? Keep reading.
Right.
No, I'm saying you keep reading.
Hey,
Oh,
mommy, look.
okay. And there's no place. Okay, I'll bring them out of Salakia. I'll bring them again out of the land of Egypt and gather them out of Assyria, and I'll bring them into the land of Gilead and Lebanon, and place shall not be found for them. And he shall pass through the sea with affliction, and shall smite the waves in the sea, and all the
Okay, so we
deeps
just
of the river shall dry up.
okay, so we
Go
just
ahead.
read that after the Assyrian captivity, right? That we went to Lebanon and Gilead, but there was no place for us to be found, right? For us to go. And then where does it say in verse 11?
Right.
That he entered the sea with the who's the he? Northern Kingdom. He entered the sea
Right.
with affliction
Yes.
because there was no place for us to be found
Right.
for us in the land of Israel.
Huh.
So there's your proof. So there's your proof that Northern Kingdom entered the ocean right there. They
Sawada,
entered the sea.
Sawada for that, brother. I appreciate that, bro.
Now go
I
to
appreciate that.
Psalms. Now go to Psalms 120. Hold on.
I was getting measured.
Now this is the scripture that basically speaks about the same thing as 2 Ezra 13. Hold on. I know it's Psalms 127, I believe.
Psalms 127.
No, hold on. No, my fault. Psalms 107.
Psalms 107. And what?
Verse 23 down to 31.
All right. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 107, starting at 23. They that go down to the sea in the ships, and that do business in great waters, these see the work of the Lord and his wonders in the deep. For he hath commanded and raised the stormy winds, which lifted up the waves thereof. They mount up to the heaven, they go down again into the depths. Their soul is melted because of trouble. They whirl to and fro and stagger like a drunken man, and are at their wits' end. Then they cry unto the Lord in their trouble, and he bringeth them out of their distress. He maketh the storm a calm, so that the waves thereof are still. Then are they glad because they be quiet. So he bringeth them unto their desired haven. Yeah, I like that.
You see
I
that,
like
right?
that, brother.
You see that, right? It's the
Yeah, I
same
see
thing
that.
read it. You see that's the
Yeah,
same thing that's being said in 2 Ezra 13, how the Most High held still the flood,
yeah,
right? Just like it says right here, the Most
right.
High held still the waves that were crashing up and down. Matter of fact, when you read the chapter of 2 Ezra 13, the very first verse 1 and 2, it talks about how Ezra is having a dream. And he talks about how in the dream, hold on, let me see if I can read it real quick. Where's my calendar at? Here it is. 2 Ezra 13, right? And it says, and it came to pass after
Yeah.
7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. Just like we just read in Psalms, how the waves were as high as what is it? I forget what it said right there. Hold on. In Psalms, where it talks about the waves,
This is sick.
he said, yeah, they mount up to the heavens and they go down to the depths. You know what I'm saying? And how the Most High basically calmed the storm. Same thing we read in Second Ezra about
Right,
the Most
and
High holds still the
the
flood.
depths wouldn't be
And the most
considered.
important part is in Second Ezra. It says how it was the Northern Kingdom who made the decision to leave the heathen. Right? It was their wishes to leave the heathen. Just like you read right here in Psalms, it says what? That the Most High held still the flood till they got to their desired haven. See where they wanted to go, their dwelling place.
Yeah. And the depths of the sea couldn't be considered the Euphrates. The depths wouldn't be considered the Euphrates River. It would be considered the ocean. The depths.
Yes. And remember, it says it right there in verse 21 anyway. It says they that go down to the sea. Remember, there is no word for ocean, so we know when it says the sea, it just means ocean.
Right. Huh.
So
Okay,
so these are usually the scriptures I usually bring brothers to, or even in Second Samuel's. I can even show you where in Second Samuel's that it was promised to us that we would get another land other than Israel.
What's that one?
Hold on. That's in Second Samuel. Hold on.
Man, I'm glad I got you on the line, brother.
I believe it's Second Samuel. Yeah, Second Samuel chapter 7. This is where Nathan was prophesying to King David, right? About how the Most High was going to give us a place to put temples at and things of that nature, But what I like to point out to brothers is verse, I believe it's 10 all the way down to 14, I think. Yeah, I'll read it for you, right? Because like I said, there's a lot of, to get the context, this is Nathan's prophecy, right? This is what Nathan prophesied to King David. So we know that, where was King David at this point right here? What land was he dwelling in? He was dwelling in the land of Israel, right? We all can agree with that.
Right.
This is what Nathan told David. He says, moreover, this is verse 10. Moreover, I will appoint a place for my people Israel, and I will plant them, that they may dwell in a place of their own and move no more. Neither shall the children of the wickedness afflict them any more as before time. So again, right here we see a prophecy of Nathan telling David that that in the future the Most High would appoint a place for Israel other than Israel, and He will plant us there. And like I said, we've been over here on the Western Hemisphere for thousands of years. We haven't gone anywhere, and we were over here building actual temples to do worship. We see those temples all throughout Central and South America.
Right. And sacrifice send our sons and daughters through the fire.
Yes. When we started falling off and following the Canaanite customs. Yep.
Yes.
Right. Hey, man. No, man. The water for those swords, brother. I need those daggers, man. The water for that.
Like this tall?
Yeah.
I'm a swinger.
Yeah, and also, what I'm saying, like for brothers and sisters, what I'm saying, like I said, this is why, like I said, when you start reading and studying the Bible yourself, you'll see these things, and like I said, all that one West stuff will disappear because it's just garbage. Like they'll teach you that you can only be an Israelite through the father. You see what I'm saying? Which that's not the case. You can even be an Israelite through the mother. They'll tell you that that other nations can't cleave onto them. That's a damn lie. Other nation, other individuals from nations can cleave. And that's all throughout the Apocrypha. You see what I'm saying? Like there's so much doctrines that they teach is just not sound doctrine at all.
Don't let it
Here's
go.
the way I see it. It's the door in, brother. You know what I'm saying?
That thing is
It's the
dangerous.
door in. It's getting your foot in the door, and
Let
then
it
go
go.
deep into the scriptures from there. But everybody got to start somewhere, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to me, it's brothers starting out finding out that hey, they are actually a chosen people. You know, here in my barrio, there's people that are chosen. You know what I'm saying? That we're not such a third class citizen, man. We're actually royalty, man. And
Yeah.
that's what I teach people, man.
Yeah.
Trying to wake them up,
The, yeah. The
get them
brother.
out of
The
Babylon.
brother.
You know what I'm saying?
What was his? The brother Marcus Anthony. He says Israelite through mother. I've never heard such thing. You should make a video on that, brother. Brother, I don't need to make a video because even though I already did, but if Ayash was here right now, he could add you to the live and I can break it down to you, brother. Like I could show you, um, that through I could show you that a heathen man being named 14 generations of his lineage under the genealogy of Judah. You can read that in Second Chronicles, I believe it's chapter 2. You have you had the genealogy of Judah being being mentioned throughout the whole chapter, and I believe the brother's name was Jarha. I believe. Hold on, let me get it out real quick. I'll show you brothers a little something today.
Hey, Hosea, the water for them daggers, brother. Shalom, Akim, and may the Most High increase you greatly. I'm out.
All right, all right, brother. Who asked the question? Well, Marcus. That's right. Marcus is actually in First Chronicles chapter 2, right? In verse 3, it says, "This is the sons of Judah." And when you read down this chapter, it gives you the genealogy of the sons of Judah, right? But then when you get down to verse 34, it reads this. It says, "Now Shushan had no sons but daughters, and Shushan had a servant, an Egyptian, whose name was Jarha. And Shushan gave his daughter to Jarha, his servant, to wife. And she bare him Attai, and Attai begot Nathan, and Nathan begot Zabad, and Zabad begot Ephal, and Ephal begot Obed, Obed begot Jehu, and Jehu begot Azariah, and Azariah begot Heliz, and Heliz begot Elisha, and Elisha begot Samaiah, and Samaiah begot Shalom, and Shalom begot Jechamiah, and Jechamiah begot Elishma. Now, why? Now, the question becomes now, Marcus, is why is 14 generations of an Egyptian's man's seed being listed under the sons of Judah and the genealogy of Judah? This is again, these are things that you're not going to learn or hear about in camps. They're not going to show you these type of scriptures. Not only that, you can go to I think 2 chapters later with Caleb. A lot of brothers don't know, but Caleb was actually an Edomite. Was from the tribe of Kenzamite, I believe. You can read about that in what is it, Second Samuel's, and also I believe in the book of Chronicles that Caleb's father was a Kenzite, which is basically an Edomite, and he was also named in the genealogy of Judah, of the sons of Judah. Okay, so and this is what people don't realize is that when you read about the strangers in Torah, especially in the law, that those strangers a lot of times is talking about Israelites that come through the mother's line. Perfect example will be Leviticus 24 and Leviticus 25. Leviticus 24 speaks about, I want to say she was an Issachar woman. Hold on, let me look it up real quick. I don't want to, I forgot exactly what tribe she was. Hold on, Leviticus 24. She was from the tribe of Dan. So yeah, in Leviticus 24, she was from the tribe of Dan, and it tells you how she married an Egyptian man, but that how the son blasphemed the name of the Lord. And in this chapter, it tells you basically how to punish basically an Israelite stranger and an actual Israelite. So the son, even though he couldn't claim a tribe, was still considered an Israelite stranger. I do not agree with camps when they say that a stranger means a foreigner. I don't believe that, because then that will make all of us foreigners or Israelite strangers, which Acts chapter 2 debunks all that when it talks about Jews, devout men from all nations came to the Pentecost. They weren't called strangers. So a lot of the time, strangers, what you see in the Torah is actually speaking about Israelites, but coming through the seed line of the woman. He said, Marcus said, I heard someone bring that out before in Sakari's channel and he got kicked out by the deacon. It was most likely me, Marcus. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Marcus, if you want to join the live, if you have any questions, you can actually join the live. I believe if you scroll up, you can hit the link. Yo, Shamar, I see you commenting. What happened, man? How'd you get kicked out of your own live feed, man? He says, yes, I realize they even changed the color scriptures. Exactly. And this is why I told the brother from the Christian apologist, Mike Herrera, that I at least give Sakari props, because out of all camps, they have changed a lot of their doctrines up, especially their color scriptures. And I give them credit for actually standing up for the truth and in that kind of a manner. MH, he says Sholamites are Issacharites. Khan, yes, they are.
You got to kiss my armpit because it's on 3. Oh.
That's crazy.
Now you gotta kiss my armpit.
I don't know. Do you want me to just end the live then, since you can't come back on?
I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
I can't even.
Let me kiss you.
Yeah, that is crazy, bro.
Okay.
How come you can't get on your own stuff? Let me see if I see any more questions. Let me scroll up. From Ancient Watchman channel. Watchman tribes.
Wait, where's that measure thing? Like, can measure you. Oh, yeah. Oh, so you can go over. First, you gotta measure. To make sure you can go
it says that someone blocked the page.
Or anything.
Damn, so nobody else can like join in real quick? Oh, that's crazy.
Wait, you want to kiss me on the
MH is saying you should try a different browser.
No. Look what he's doing. He's saying, "Oh, so loud."
Oh, man. Well, I guess that will be it for today because I don't see anybody else who really wanted to come on. And the brother Shamar got kicked out of his own live feed. Unless any other brothers have a question for me. All right, well, I guess shalom, everybody.